Good morning. No, good afternoon. Or I guess it could be morning for you, depending on what time zone you're in. I'll just say good day. Um, we're back for a actual coding stream. Let's see. I'm interested in learning how to accept integrate payments into my applications. So I'm learning about the Stripe API. And then we can pin that message. Let's see if Nightbot's working. I've done everything besides deleting my account on Nightbot to get it to work. And it just, I don't know, man. It doesn't work. I cannot figure it out. What's so weird is it can see, let's see, live chat. It can see what's so interesting about the whole Nightbot fiasco is that it's very clear that Nightbot can see my stream. It just doesn't seem to be allowed to post to my Slack or something. I'm not really sure. Participants. Okay, here we go. So, we're getting back to educating ourselves. Hello, Yasir. How are you? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. We're getting back to trying to educate ourselves on the Stripe API, which is where I kind of left off on my coding journey last week. Excuse me. So we were on a development quick start, and then we were actually going down here. We were on custom payment flow. We're using HTML and .NET. Yep, this is exactly. This page is optimized for wider screens. You might prefer the text version of this guide. That's kind of cool. Very nice. Like it, obviously they have some sort of. You think it's a CSS, like a media query or something that displays that banner? It's pretty nice. What does the text version of this guide look like? Huh. In any event, this is what we're gonna do. I'm good, bro. How are you? I'm good. Yeah, man. I'm healthy. My wife's healthy. My kids are healthy. I've got a delicious vanilla latte here with 4 shots of espresso, so the heart rate's gonna be thumping, here in 30 minutes or so. Yeah, life's good, dude. Life is good. So I know I was using Visual Studio, but I don't feel like using Visual Studio today, so I'm just gonna use NeoVim. So let's see, Stripe checkout, Vim. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like I've said this before, and I'll probably continue to say this for a long time on stream, but I just feel like if you're healthy, your family's healthy, like the people you love and care about are healthy, the rest is just kind of icing on the cake, right? Like if you have food, if you have clean running water, um, got a roof over your head, right? Like you're just there's not there's really not a whole lot to not be happy about in those circumstances. Although life could be a little better if I could get Nightbot to work. I cannot get Nightbot to work. Let's see. Let's see if I can get the. Let's see. Commands. Yeah, it's so weird. It's like definitely Nightbot can see my commands. So what are you doing today? today here is 1:05 a.m. insomnia hitting. Oh, nice. Well, I'm glad I could keep you company while you procrastinate on sleeping. So today I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up where I left off with my uh, basically my POC for my POC for integrating um, not integrating my POC for like how the Stripe API works. That's basically what I'm working through right now. I'm trying to figure out what does it look like to have a simple checkout flow on a website that uses the Stripe API. And I'm going through this very slowly, but I'm eventually going to get it implemented. This is where I'm at currently. So I have a controller method or a route and a route handler set up to handle this create action. And now I need to set up the payment. I need to set up the actual form. So I guess that's what we'll do now. Although, let's see, expression values never used. Oh. I can add this stuff. Let's see what we've got going on here. Fix formatting. Make it static. There we go. All right, everyone's happy now. So if we run this, let's run this real quick. .NET run. Hold on, sorry, I think my dog is getting into something. I'll be right back. I'm back. Sorry, my dog. I just heard like some big commotion, and it was my dog trying to go somewhere he's not supposed to go. Nice. Implementing payment gateways, a very enjoyable process, but with some painful. Yeah, I've never done it before, so I'm learning about like. I just know that like I want to build things where I ask people to pay me money for the thing, and so I need to understand how that works. How do I do that, right? I've never done it before, so. .NET. Actually, let's do .NET Watch project. And this should just serve a static HTML file right now. So if we go to yep, there we go. So we're just hello world. And also let's do this over HTTPS. So let's go back here. Kill that. Go back here. Let's go to the properties. We'll just switch these around. And then let's run this again. Hey, what's up, creatives? Hey, Steven. Even though you live in the US, you're the opposite of what liberals preach and who aren't family oriented and that don't acknowledge cultural values, but you're trying to build things like a man. You live in the US, but you're the opposite of what liberals preach. You aren't family oriented. The opposite of what liberal. It would help if I could read. That would really help my comprehension. You're the opposite of what liberals preach and who aren't family oriented and that don't acknowledge cultural values. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's interesting because I have friends and family who are liberal and I have friends and families who are conservative, but it's kind of funny is like I think if those two groups of people actually talked about politics, they would be pretty polarized in their conversation. And yet, when I look at these groups of people, they actually have a lot of shared value. Like just where I grew up in the United States, like most people are very family oriented. Most people like are good people. Like they look out for others. Um, so yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's like the minute you start talking about politics, people instantly get polarized. But when you talk about just like how to live one's life, there's actually a lot of overlap, um, which I think is kind of the point of political parties these days. They kind of want to polarize people because that helps animate their parties a little bit. I don't know. It's it's beyond me. I just try to focus on me, my family, the things I can control, the things I can influence. Tauntaun, nice. .NET CLI. Yeah, I'm much more of a CLI person, so I don't. I typically just use VS Code or some editor and then the .NET CLI. I know there's a lot of .NET developers who are pretty like Visual Studio IDE focused, and I don't know if it's like the type of development I do or maybe the problems I work on. I don't really ever feel like I have the need for much more than the CLI and some sort of editor. There we go. All right, so we've got our page. Now we need to add our form to it. This here, I have tried Stripe PG 2 years ago. Same for learning purposes. Very interesting. I have never written .NET. Can you share your experience? Oh, so my experience with .NET is it's awesome. My experience was particularly so .NET really encompasses several languages. So I've not written any F Sharp or Visual Basic or VB.NET. I've not written any of those languages. So I can only speak to my experience of writing C Sharp, and C Sharp is wonderful. I particularly have a belief that if you're somebody who really enjoys writing TypeScript, you should give C Sharp a chance. I think you'll find it very, very enjoyable. Um, the .NET ecosystem in general is, I think, getting better. I mean, I think the .NET ecosystem carries with it a little bit of like it's for old white guys who work in enterprise environments, but I feel like there's the .NET team is doing a lot of work to try to move beyond that, hopefully. Um, One of the coolest things happening in the .NET ecosystem right now is this tool chain that they're developing called Aspire. And if you haven't taken a chance to do a little bit of research on what Aspire is, you should probably go look at that because I think at the end of the day, Aspire is gonna while Aspire is very focused around C Sharp the language in terms of you use C Sharp to implement Aspire. The benefits of Aspire, I think, are going to reach far beyond the .NET ecosystem at the end of the day. So it's early days, but one of the cool things happening in the .NET world is Aspire. It's basically like a short, uh, like I guess this is the best way to describe it because this is how they describe it. So it provides a set of tools, templates, and packages for building observable, production-ready, distributed apps. And I would just encourage you to go like follow a quick Aspire tutorial, and you'll kind of see the benefits. It's sort of like a better Docker Compose almost sort of thing. But yeah, if you're curious about C Sharp or curious about .NET, I highly encourage you to give it a go. I already have the script there. Okay, so we've got the script. It's awesome. Let's go back. Now we need our form. We'll just copy and paste what they got here. Copy. Whoops, that's not on a page. There we go. Stripe.js injects the payment element. Ah, so that's why you need an ID. Nice, nice. And then I guess I'll just remove that. And then I think I'll change this to, no, that's fine. Stripe checkout's a good title. We'll just separate these with a little bit of space. And now we should have a form. Nice. But obviously, I haven't initialized anything. Hey, what's up, Gun Highs? How are you? Shrek, jiggle your boobs? No, man, that's a whole different kind of stream. I'm gonna put Shrek in a timeout. I meant hello, Steven. Yes, hello. It's been a minute. Isn't Avalonia UI an open source approach of Aspire? I don't think Avalonia has anything to do with Aspire. If it does, I wasn't aware of it. Titan.net, freaking awesome. Yeah, I would agree with that. How many kids do I have? I have two kids. I have a fourth grader and a second grader. I always say I'm a 32-year-old dad of two, happily married. So I'm a very wealthy and lucky man. C Sharp is commonly used in large scale enterprise software development, not only for game. Yeah, so C Sharp I think has gotten a rap for game development because of Unity, right? The game engine Unity, which supports C Sharp, and then I think C Sharp has always gotten kind of a stuffy enterprise rep because I think that's where .NET kind of found its origin, right? Like it was very much like enterprise heavy, only on Windows, and that has kind of plagued it. Even though we're getting ready to be on .NET 10, .NET Core, but now they call it .NET just .NET 10. So we're on like the 10th, something like the 10th iteration. I guess it was .NET 1, 2, 3, and then .NET 5, .NET 6, .NET 7, .NET 8, .NET 9, .NET 10. So was that 9 versions essentially, where .NET has now been open source and cross-platform. So you can use .NET on Linux, on Mac, on Windows. They have a lot of different frameworks to support all kinds of different development. You can use like things like .NET MAUI to do cross-platform development. They've got Blazor if you're into more of a component-based approach to building front ends and in web development. They excel like for backend. If you're writing CLI tools or if you're writing workers, things like that. The C Sharp is awesome for that. So you can do pretty much anything you want in C Sharp. And they're actually bringing a really cool feature. I know I'm getting completely distracted. I sound like I'm doing a sales pitch for C Sharp, but they're actually bringing a really cool new feature to C Sharp that's basically going to let you interact with C Sharp apps similar to how you interact with JavaScript apps in Node. You know how you can just write like a Node index.js? Well, now you'll be able to do something like .NET app.cs, right, or index.cs. So you can just kind of have a single file that functions as a complete project. You don't need any other, you don't need a CS proj file or any other artifacts that you would generally associate with a .NET project or a .NET app. And you can just have a single file that has some code in it and you can run it. So that's coming in .NET 10, and I'm sure they'll build on that more in future versions of .NET. Yes, sir. I have a question. What was your best moment at work? Like any moment where you solved a real problem at job. If something, glad to hear you. Let's see. Let me think on that one, Yasir. I rarely hear people talk about C# for softwares. They would rather use TypeScript or Python. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of TypeScript and Python developers. I think TypeScript's wonderful. Python's fine. I'm not like it. Just Python's never grabbed me. Like I would much more often reach for TypeScript than I would Python. I don't know why people don't talk about C#. I think C Sharp just kind of like I said, it just kind of got stuck in that whole like, oh, only enterprise old white guys use C Sharp. And it's taken a lot of time and effort, I think, for the team to push C Sharp out of that stereotype. And I'm hoping I can be a part of that, through the content I make and using C Sharp on my YouTube streams and YouTube videos, that hopefully more people will be introduced to it and be open to learning it. As far as the best moment at work where I solved a real problem, so there was an issue with, it wasn't really an issue, but there was a need, right? There was a need for people to be able to perform a particular action, but they need to be able to perform it in bulk. And that action wasn't supported. And I was able to basically help people do this using a CLI tool against an API. And that was a lot of fun because it solved a very concrete problem, and the people that had that problem were very, very grateful that they didn't have to spend a bunch of their time doing something one by one by one. And I think that's often the most rewarding, is when you can solve a problem, a very tangible problem for someone right? And you can actually see the impact of the code you write and the problem it solves. So that's the thing that stands out as far as like a work-related thing, Yasir. Do you also use CLI at your work too? So I don't do a ton with .NET at work, personally. Most of the stuff I do for work is around test automation. I use the Playwright CLI quite a bit there. But yeah, at work I use a little bit more Visual Studio because the solution there is it basically spans the .NET Core and the .NET Framework world, so it's a little bit more required. It's a little bit more required that you are kind of coupled to Visual Studio. But if I can, then yeah, I'll use the CLI most of the time over anything else, just out of habit, muscle memory. Peace, it's live. Yes, this is live. Peace, how old are you? I am 32. And your experience in tech. So if you want to creep on me professionally, you can go to linkedin.stephenfreeborn.com, and that URL will just take you to my LinkedIn profile. You're welcome to connect with me. Excuse me. You're welcome to connect with me there. But my experience in tech has largely been, I was a support analyst. Then I worked in QA as an analyst. Then I demonstrated my ability to solve problems with code and kind of worked myself into sort of an engineer position. And that's where I sit today. And then before I worked in tech, I worked in the food industry as a research and development food scientist for 5-6 years. Before that, I was a personal trainer and was a medical scribe. And then before that, I was in college/high school. Arvin, we are one of Steven's stream. We are one Steven's stream closer to war. Oh, Arvin, I'm sorry, man. I'm really sorry that everything seems to be going sideways where you are. I hope you're doing okay in the middle of all that. All right, how am I'm supposed to do something with the Stripe? I'm supposed to do something with the Stripe Stripe SDK on the front end. So what am I supposed to do? Let's see. Initialize the Stripe elements. Okay, so here we go. So this is all of the JavaScript code. So let me just copy this. We'll put this over in NeoVim. Probably is a little easier to read. Okay, so let's put this over here. Oh, crap. I think that just... There we go. All right, let's format this real quick, and let's just read through this code. All right, so we're initializing the Stripe object, right? This is like a static object, I guess. That's probably... It's added by importing this this CDN script. And then we are the item the customer wants to buy, so we're just making up an item. And then we're initializing a variable of elements, it's undefined. Then we're calling initialize, which calls all this code. So this fetches a payment intent and captures the client's secret. So this is what calls the thing that we implemented in Program CS. So basically the page loads and we do this. And we return back a client secret, which comes from the Stripe API. That's what the payment intent, I guess, is. Let's go back to the. Let's go back here. Let's see. Okay, so we do that, and then once we get the client secret, looks like we're defining some appearance, and then we're stripe.elements. Where's that? Oh, okay, that's that Stripe object. And so I'm guessing this call does something. And it hands me back some elements. And then we mount those we mount the element onto the payment element that we have in our HTML already. We'll just separate this a little bit more here. Arvin, things here are not going sideways. It's full-fledged upside down. Our national currency fell 2% more since the last stream earlier today. Yikes. Arvin, where are you? That's wild, man. Where are you, Arvin? Sorry, guys. I got a message here. Sorry, I got distracted. Let's see. What you think about this case? If we have integrated the payment gateway in the back end, and front end calls the API and get deep link URL, is this approach good or anything else is better? Huh. I'm not. And get deep link URL. Is the deep? I'm not sure what that is. The deep link URL, is that like a URL that takes people to a place where they can submit a payment or something like that? Arvin, Iran. Oh wow. Oh wow. Yeah. So you're in the thick of it because you got all that stuff going on in the Middle East. Well, I hope you stay. First of all, Arvin, stay safe. Second of all, I hope things calm down. I wish I had better stuff to say. I really don't. Dev, hi dude. I'm in my final year trying to build a career in tech. Any advice? Um, what's my advice? As somebody who's only like 5 years into their tech career, I'm not sure I'm the best person to be giving advice. But I think what I'm trying to do personally is I'm trying to soak up every opportunity I get to learn something new, and I'm trying to relish in that. And then I'm also trying to be super comfortable with things always changing. Um, I'm trying to be very non-reactive about new technologies being introduced, proclamations that people are making about this technology is obsolete and these skill sets aren't going to be useful anymore. I'm trying really hard to focus on making sure I stay flexible and that I always keep kind of a student's mind to everything. Arvin, Stephen, it seems your country wants to attack my country. Call your electives. Tell them leave us alone. We have enough shit to worry about. Yeah, Iran and America does not get along. They do not get along. Although I don't think that they'll care what I don't think that my elect I don't think my electives give a shit what I think. Dev, what editor are you using? This is NeoVim, Dev. Um, yeah, I've been using this since about January, and it's been a ton of fun. I've been a kind of a lifelong Visual Studio Code user, and at the beginning of this year, I decided to take kind of a side quest, a NeoVim side quest, and it's been a lot of fun. Assalamu alaikum. I guess maybe who's that? Tom. All right, I don't know if Tom's talking to me. Of course, Arvin. I wish you the best. Adam, I have absolutely no coding skills whatsoever, but I'm working on code. Any advice? If you have no coding skills whatsoever, then it's reps. Sit down, follow a course, check out Free Code Camp. Here, I'll link you. Let's see, at Adam Sparrow. freecodecamp.org. Hit up freecodecamp.org. But just get your fingers on the keyboard and get reps, Adam. That's the key, man. That's the key. I'm scared of using Vim. Hard to let VS Code go. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's not a zero sum game. You know, you can use whatever editor on whatever day that you feel like using it. So I still use VS Code. I still use NeoVim. I use Visual Studio sometimes. I use Rider when I'm writing C#. I think the biggest thing for me, Dev, that I've taken away from using NeoVim has been Vim motions. So just the ability to like navigate your editor and navigate your code while keeping your fingers on the keyboard is, I think, valuable. I think is a really good experience. So I don't think you have to leave VS Code behind, but if you have some time and you feel like you want to take a side quest, I think you'll have a lot of fun. NeoVim sucks. I guess I have never tried. It's a nightmare for me, I guess. I think it's just different, right? It's just like anytime you are really, really comfortable using a tool and you switch to another tool, you know what I mean? There's always going to be a drop off in productivity and efficiency, and you just kind of have to accept that as part of the learning experience. Brawl MMA. What's up, Steve? Azim this side. Remember me? I think I do, but I don't know why your username says Brawl MMA. I've never seen it say that before. Thank God for AI. Wouldn't be where I am without it. Yeah, well, there you go. I think the key with AI though, Adam, when you're trying to learn to code, is don't put the AI in the editor, or at least turn it off. Because like you don't want AI to take your reps of actually writing code. That's my thought. Give a try Android Studio. You will shut down your PC. Dev, you planning something for Hacktoberfest? I haven't. No, I haven't. I haven't participated in a Hacktoberfest ever. It always looks like a lot of fun. It's just, for whatever reason, it just always kind of, it just, I don't know, it goes by and I haven't done anything with it. I find writing code itself to be enjoyable, along other things. I don't know how people strip away this joy from themselves. Yeah, Arvin, I'm in the middle. Like, there's some things that I love Copilot to just tab complete the shit out of. However, if there's something very particular or maybe new to me or something that I thought about a lot that I want to implement, then I do. And if it's kind of like unique, or what's the better word, a novel. If it's much more novel, writing it is a lot of fun. But I don't mind Copilot taking over some of the more boring stuff for me. All right, should we see if this works now? I think we should. I feel like we didn't read this code. Okay, so this is going to handle submitting our form. And we have a little set loading. Let's see. Make sure to change this to your payment completion page. Oh, I don't have one of those. Should I make one of those? I guess I should make one of those. Then this point will only be reached if there is, what does this say? This point will only be reached if there's an immediate error when confirming the payment. Otherwise, customers will be redirected to your return URL. For some payment methods like Ideal, your customers will be redirected to an intermediate site first to authorize the payment, then redirected to the return URL. Let's see. Then it's checking for some errors. And then we have some UI helpers here. Show a spinner. I don't think I have the right CSS though for the spinner to work. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have the CSS, so I should probably add that, right? Yeah, so we get the full experience here. And this was the oh, this was the complete HTML. I didn't realize there was two different HTML pages. This let's see, complete.js. But I don't see a complete.index.html. Okay. Well, try to figure that out. I've heard those people use Stripe for their payment integration. What are you talking about, Dev? Oh, Hacktoberfest uses Stripe? Very cool. Busy Slim, the alleged AI bot. AI took enjoyment away from coding, but equally has opened up a lot more load more opportunities. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if you're in the coding world, right? Okay, here's the thing. If you write code, if you're a software engineer or developer, you just write code in general, then AI feels really impactful. However, if you're like a normal person, how does AI really impact your life beyond like asking ChatGPT a question at this point, right? And by AI, I mean like generative AI, like large language models. So I don't really know how many more opportunities LLMs have actually opened the door to. Yeah, I don't know. I'm super skeptical of the claims being made about. I just think the claims and the hype and There's just too many billions of dollars involved right now to like get a good beat on it. Dev, using vanilla CSS. Yeah, I'm using vanilla everything. This is like vanilla HTML, vanilla JavaScript, vanilla everything at this point. See you, Arvin. Stay safe, man. I hope things get better for you. Hello, MD. How are you? I always listen to your live to collect some experiences. Well, that's good. I'm glad you find my lives enjoyable. Ton. AI for learning stuff kid used to learn in school. I mean, my kids still go to school though. You know what I mean? And I don't hear my kids talking about how their teachers are using AI in their classrooms. Now, again, that's n equals 1, right? I have 2 children at one school in the same place in the United States. This is anecdotal, but I guess I just until my mom starts coming to me and talking to me about generative AI, I'm just not really completely sold that AI is having this like earth-shattering impact on the world that everyone claims it is. Busy Slim. If you're a normal person, you'll be getting the sack soon. Yeah, I mean, everyone's allowed to have an opinion. My opinion at the moment is I just don't think it's as, I don't know. I just don't think it's as wide blown as people make it out to be. All right, let's put our styles up here. Style tag. Hold on. What? Why? Oh, yep. I don't even know what half the CSS is doing. Okay, let's go back. Okay, let's see what the form looks like now, though. Let's see if we go to here. Okay, so if I click pay now, what happens? Nothing. Just submits the form. So something's not right. There's no errors. Hold on, let's see. There is an error. Failed to execute observe on mutation observer. Parameter 1 is not of type node. So what do we have wrong here? We have payment form, we have payment elements, we have our Stripe publishable key. I mean, this is obviously not the right, you know, I mean, I guess we could add one, right? We just complete.html, and then we could say HTML5, complete payment, delete this guy. Say H1, payment completed or something. And we can quit that real quick. Let's restart our server. And then we also need to update our index. Let's see, with the right localhost URL, which is this. Oh, you know what? I think I might need to update my API key too, because I think I rotated it. Hold on, let's see. I missed a bunch of chat here. I swear 70% of Steven's chat are Indians. There's nothing wrong with Indians. I guess too many of us. No, there's not too many of you guys. All are welcome. Busy Slim. I'm working on AI solutions for business cost reduction. Oh, very cool. I think that's what most companies are trying to use AI to do. Is not AI is not necessarily being used to drive the business, as so much limit cost and reduce cost. I will be competing with India for a Java role. MD, use two-space indentation for every language or just HTML? I pretty much use two spaces for almost everything. I think two spaces is plenty of separation for me. It's plenty of white space. And so I just kind of apply that everywhere. Busy Slim. Oh, you need to integrate a debugger. I do have a debugger. I just wasn't running it with a debugger. Not gonna lie, but your Vim config looks kind of hot. I'm hoping that's a good thing, Dev. And also, you can find my Vim config here, my NeoVim config. Most of it, I have to give most credit for it to another YouTuber named Typecraft. I have to give a lot of credit to him. And then there's a few things, like some of the C# stuff is just stuff that I've kind of hacked together. So let's see, dev nvim config. There we go. Hello, Happy Cindy. How are you? Good to see you. Yo, man, why don't you build your HTML in JS? I mean, you could. I'm just kind of doing the simplest thing at the moment because I'm just trying to kind of figure out the Stripe API. So I'm doing the simplest thing. I have a .NET API, minimal API. It's just serving static files, single HTML pages. Easy. Sometimes you don't need to overcomplicate things. Busy Slim. It can take away mundane jobs and do more efficiently. Still need humans, don't get me wrong, but less for business. Yeah, I'll be interested to see if that prediction comes to pass, I guess. You know, I'll be interested to see if that's actually the case. I think at this point in time, I'm somewhere in the middle. I think LLMs are very useful. I think AI is a very incredible piece of technology. It lets you do things that, 4 or 5 years ago would have been wholly impossible or would have required a lot of effort. But I don't necessarily think it's reached a place where it's fundamentally going to change the way most of us live our lives yet. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but that's where I'm at the moment. Two space looks a bit messy. I don't think so. I think two spaces is perfect. He's one among the tabs for space guy. Yeah, tab space. I don't really care. It's just white space either way to me. But yeah, two spaces worth of indentation or tab size, whatever you want to call it. That's where I've landed as my personal preference. Justin. Yeah, exactly, Justin. Yeah, I'm just like doing the bare minimum so I can figure out, okay, so the way the Stripe API works is you create a payment intent and then you manage that. I'm just kind of just trying to figure it out. So in that case, I don't need like a front end framework or anything like that. I just need a very simple kind of playground environment to figure out how this stuff works. Although I don't really know why. Let's see if. Let me start this again. So .NET Watch. Come back down here. We'll right click and inspect. Let's see, WebSocket connection. Oh, that's not important. This is not important. All right, let's see. Does it make a request? Yeah, it's not making a request to that endpoint. Which means maybe I've pasted something wrong. Let's see. Or oh, that error's not even from me. That's from a that error that I was talking about earlier, that's from an extension, not from my code. So the question is why is the initialization failing? That's I think the question at the moment. So let's just do the good old console log. Little printf debugging here. Let's just see if we're getting into that function. Because it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like we're getting into this function. Are we reaching this? Okay, this doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it's not even... Something's wrong here. Okay, let's get out of here. .NET run. It's like it's not serving the right page or something. Huh. I'm stumped at the moment. What the heck? Script type application. JSON? That's something you can add to your script, right? Oh, you're right. Yeah, it shouldn't be JSON. Thank you. It shouldn't be that. That's my fault. We can just remove that altogether. That's so funny. All right, let's see if that fixes our issue here. What would I do without chat to lead me to the promised land? HTTPS local host. There we go. Okay, the server responded with a status of 500. Yes. Okay, so now it's working, but I think I need to... Your API key is invalid. Yeah, that's because I rotated it. So Oh God, look at that ugly stack trace. Tech scene in my country is pretty good. There are jobs starting from $500 per month to $10,000 per month and even more. Wow. Yeah, that is a good scene. Also, Tom Tai, thank you very much. I'm going to give you a shout out in the chat there. Tom Tai. Thank you for pointing out my idiocy. How do you spell idiocy? Idiocy? How do I use my emojis? There we go. Alright, so we need to, I'm going to do this off screen. I need to go to, well, I don't really have to do this off screen, but I'm going to do this off screen. Copy that. We'll go back over here. We will update my API key. Where do I put my API key? Okay, so now we've got the right API key set. Now we're going to run it again. Let's see if this works better now. There we go. Looky there. Okay, so obviously it made a request. But I don't understand. I guess let's just do card. Is there a way I can do like a test card? Style the payment element. Complete the payment. Handle the submit event. Listen to the form submit event to know when to confirm the payment through the Stripe API. Call confirm payment with the element instance and return URL to indicate where Stripe redirects the customer. For payments that require authentication, Stripe displays a modal for 3D Secure. Show a payment status message. When Stripe redirects the customer to the return URL, the payment intent client secret query param is appended. Use this to retrieve the payment intent status update and determine what to show to your customer. Handle post-payment events. Stripe sends multiple events during the payment process and after the payment event, or after the payment is complete. Create an event destination for a webhook endpoint to receive these events. And run actions such as sending an order confirmation email to your customer, logging the sale in the database. Listen for these events rather than waiting on a callback from the client. On the client, the customer could close the browser window or quit the app before the callback executes. Okay, so how do I test it? Okay, so we run that, make a test payment. Automate tax collection. Okay, so how do I test payment details? Open in a new window. Let's see, test your integration, card number. Oh, cool. So they give you card numbers that you can use. And you can just use any. That's cool. Okay, so this is a bogus card. How do I don't really want Bitwarden showing my. I like disable it? How do I disable Bitwarden? Well, I guess I can just turn it off. I'm a little all over the place today, aren't I? Gosh dang it. Ah! Okay. Card. The card's expiration is in the past. Oh. Is that better? No, I don't want to save my information. Pay now. Hey, it worked. Okay, so let's see. Payment intent. Okay, so that's my payment intent. Payment intent client secret. And then the redirect status is succeeded. So they were saying something in the docs about that's actually that was actually kind of crazy simple. Let's see, Steven, it looks funny in mobile chat. What do you think? What looks funny in mobile chat? The emoji? Let's see, Fred Paloma, sad face. I made Fred sad? Oh, I'm sorry, Fred. Oh god, I've already been on here for an hour? Jesus. That went quick. Alright, well, I successfully made a test payment, so that's good. Pichua Hitichi. What are you cooking, bro? I'm really just trying to figure out how to use the Stripe API, which I think I figured it out. So basically, I have a form. When that form loads, I create a payment intent. Then I use whatever SDK that Stripe provides me. In this case, they have a JavaScript SDK, but I could use iOS or Android. And then, yeah, I do some stuff on the front end. I post the form. And then I need to implement, it sounds like I need to implement call confirm payment. Okay, yeah. Let's see, handle errors, yes. Show a status. So it says when Stripe redirects the customer to the return URL, the payment intent client secret is appended. Use this to retrieve the payment intent status update. Payment intents update. In response to actions taken by the customer or payment method, your integration can inspect the payment intent to determine the status of the payment process so that you can take business actions or respond to states that require further intervention. When completing a payment on the client with the card payment function, you can inspect the return payment to determine its current status. Check payment status on the client without using confirm card payment. I don't think I'm using confirm card payment, am I? If we look at my code, or the code that I copied, I don't think we're using that, are we? We're using just confirm payment. Shit, where did that go? Here we go. To check the status of payment without retrieve it independently using the retrieve payment intent function, passing in the client secret. Okay, so that's why I need the client secret, is to check the status. The following are possible statuses of the payment intent following a confirmation. So it succeeded. It requires action or requires payment method. I wonder though, at the very end of this, it says redirect status. So I'm wondering what would happen if something triggered an error. Okay, let's try this again. It looks like they have different cards that you can use to simulate different things. So let's see if I do this and I plug this one in. 01 27 333. Now pay. Your car. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, so that doesn't have. Okay, so what's it about this one? What does this do? This is really cool that Stripe has credit card numbers that they give you for testing this stuff. That's really cool. In live mode, customers will be asked to verify their identity with a push notification, a text message, or another method chosen by their bank. Complete. So I wonder what else can be the redirect status. I wonder if this can be like error or fail. Yeah, I'm curious. Okay, in any event, we should probably implement this on that complete page. So you monitor a payment intent with webhooks. Stripe can send webhook events to your server to notify you when the status of a payment intent changes, which you can use for purposes such as determining when to fulfill goods and services. Don't attempt to handle order fulfillment on the client side. They're very clear about this. They say this very strongly in a couple different places. The chat that contains special emojis have much larger text block on YouTube mobile app. Oh, cool. So like if I do this, like this is my favorite member emoji. Emotional Jared. If you guys watch Silicon Valley, this is Emotional Jared. Does that look big in the mobile app? Are you just exploring Stripe or going to use it for something? I'm exploring it because I want to use it. So I am going to implement it in an application. For me personally, part of my learning process, whenever I encounter new technology or a new service or something I don't know anything about, is I want to be able to explore it and experiment with it in a kind of a playground environment, but like a very, very simple playground environment. I don't want to be fighting or be distracted about any kind of application specific things or domain specific things. I just want to be able to experiment with that particular thing. That to me helps me figure it out and build a mental model for the way the thing works and how you implement it. Then once I kind of have a good rough understanding, that's when I'll usually then take it and stick it into an actual application where it would be useful. That's my process. Doesn't mean it's the right process, but so basically the code that I'm writing or the thing I've written to this point, I'll just throw it away. Like it's not meant to be long-lived code. All right, so how do I ask for a webhook? So instead, use webhooks to monitor the payment intent.succeeded event and handle its completion asynchronously instead of attempting to initiate fulfillment on the client side. It's technically possible to use polling instead of webhooks to monitor for changes. Yeah, of course. Okay, so handle a webhook. Create a route on your server and configure a corresponding webhook endpoint in the dashboard. Okay, so you have to set this up in the dashboard. So here's my web. This might be the next thing we do because I'd like to see how this works. So maybe I'll work on adding an endpoint for that. See, processing succeeded. Amount capturable updated. To test webhooks locally, you can use the Stripe CLI. After you install it, you can forward events to your server. Nice. I'm guessing you can just use ngrok for that too, to test it. Let's see. When you attempt to collect payment from a customer, The payment intent creates a charge. To get the ID of the most recent charge, inspect the payment intent's latest change. So I'm going to have to go through the Stripe dashboard and kind of look at this stuff because I kind of want to understand. So there's obviously a payment intent, but now they're talking about a charge object. And this is all documented in the dashboard. So I probably need to go through the dashboard and kind of see how this works as well. In any event, my hour of streaming over lunch is over. So I need to hop off here, guys, and finish out the workday. It was a nice, chill, quiet stream with y'all. Let's see. Now I can't forget that nose enlargement thing Jared did for this interview, or did for his interview. Yeah, I know, it's hilarious. They're like, "Oh my God, what's wrong with you?" Silicon Valley is the best. It's a wonderful show. Makes me laugh every time. All right, guys, I'm headed out. Y'all have a good rest of your Monday. I hope you have a great start to your week. If it's already Tuesday for you, I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in another live stream or short or video or something of that nature. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.